Hi guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Today is kind of like a weird video, as you can tell by the title, and I just want to explain more of to why I took this huge hiatus. I posted a video like a day or so ago about just finally working through my childhood trauma and like trying to restart my channel. So hi, welcome. My name is Ashley. I'm a stay-at-home mom that loves to craft, and I also own a yoga studio. We had to close the physical space, but I'm going to get into that in a sec. I own Ashlee's Crazy Yoga, and right now we're doing virtual classes on Zoom. So if you want to practice with us and support our virtual studio online, we do classes Central Time, Mondays through Saturdays, and all of that's in the description. So I'm a stay-at-home mom that loves to craft, and I also teach yoga classes. And so I'm really trying to put energy into this YouTube channel, and that's why I'm trying to restart my channel to finally bring you guys in a little bit more into my life and what I like to do. I was always so nervous and just apprehensive of sharing my life because I just felt it was weird, and I just felt like I was a really awkward person. I'm realizing that it doesn't matter. I feel like I'm maturing to an age where you just start to not care, and it feels really good. It's actually lifted a lot of stress off of me, and what has helped me through my postpartum D is finally realizing who I am, this new person, this mom, and basically a new life. It's Satanama in Sanskrit, life, death, birth, rebirth. I believe that's what it translates as, but the rebirth of me now as a mother, but you know, now I feel like I'm in a new body, right? So we're going to get into what has caused my postpartum D, and most of the stuff is not related to what would happen in a typical like pregnancy and after you're having your baby, what contributes to your mental health. Like, it's totally unrelated, and it's so frustrating. I feel like I was robbed of my postpartum recovery renewal with my child because of these situations. And so I made a list because I like to be organized. And the first one I want to address is my mom never supported what I did. And so this has gone on since I was a child, and that's like the childhood trauma that I've been working through fiercely, and just overcoming that and knowing that that's now in the past and that no longer controls me. And also, I don't know if anybody else thinks like this, but I've just kind of been thinking this idea like every 10 years is a new era of yourself. So I feel like I'm in a new era. I have a family. I have a beautiful husband. You know, I have like this totally different life than what I did when I was in high school and whatever. Ooh, bad lighting. Oh, now it's changing. Okay, it's a little brighter in this video. But so like my mom, she never like was supportive of me, or I feel like maybe she did know how to show it. I tried to rekindle some what we had this past November, but I just found out, or I just felt like she was still in the same thought pattern. So I didn't want to bother with her anymore, or bother with that. That sounds rude, but like for anybody out there that has been verbally abused and what have you with, or dealing with issues with their parents, hopefully can relate to how I feel like. I don't want to keep apologizing for what I say, you know. So when I was in high school, I was reintroduced to yoga. I was introduced to it like when I was in the 5th grade, in Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout growing up. They had like a wellness unit, so we actually went to a yoga studio, and my mom was like weird, and she never like let me wear leggings because they were too tight, you know what I mean? But I was 10. I'm not thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know. And I had like, this is totally random, I had my pants ripped. I had like those kind of pants, those exercise pants growing up, and they ripped on the bridge. And I'm like, if I could wear leggings or more comfortable clothes, I don't think I would have had that embarrassment. But anyway, I actually wore jeans to my first yoga class, and that was in 5th grade. And I deviate a lot. So then in high school, when I was reintroduced to it, at my senior year, I had finished it. I loved it so much. We had a yoga unit, and I actually brought my first mat. But I decided, I'm like, I'm going to take a year off. I don't want to go to college. And like my mom, by the way, she had like this idea that my brother and I were supposed to go to college and we were supposed to get these specific professions. And that's just not how it is. Like, we're both two different human beings, and we want to, we have our own thoughts and our own futures that we want to plan for ourselves, right? So I didn't go to college. I just took a year off. I worked at Home Depot, and then that's when I started my yoga journey. The money I was finally making from Home Depot was decent, and I was able to put money towards my yoga teacher training. So I do have videos way back on my YouTube. I was actually rewatching them recently of me going on my yoga teacher trainings. And when I told my mom, hey, I want to be a yoga teacher, I'm going to start doing these trainings. A yoga teacher training, I have a video about it, is what I was going to say, is only $3,000, $3,000 to $5,000. And I'm like, that's reasonable. I can save up and pay as I go. That was the training I was going through. But my mom, she never supported me, and she was just like, you're not going to make any money doing that, so why are you trying to do that? I'm like, well, I feel like I can make money. Fast forward, y'all, when I turned 22, I opened the youngest Black-owned studio in Wisconsin, 2020, or February 2020. We actually ended up closing it this past June, but we're going to get into that. This is how my brain works, so I hope you're sticking with me here. So she didn't support me with my yoga journey and finally becoming a 200-hour yoga teacher. The street vacuum guy, he's coming through here. So I went through my training, I got my 200 hours, and I finally started making money teaching yoga. And the relationship was already just getting rockier and rockier. I could make several different videos about this, but I'm trying not to ramble so much. But she didn't even support me when I was teaching yoga. It was weird. Like, I tried to tell her I was teaching yoga, and then she just would pop up unannounced, and it was just awkward because I wasn't expecting it. And I don't know, I feel like she was trying too hard. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. This is me trying to think of how I felt a few years ago now, but I just felt it was awkward. It didn't seem sincere, trying to support me. And it was like one class. She had never been to the studio. She never came to the grand opening. She never tried to find a way to actually support the yoga. If you're actually, here for me, you hear from me, right? So, and also I wrote a book. 23 years old. I think when I turned 23, I wrote a book. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary, so I have to do the math. I suck at math anyway. But I wrote a book, and when I was little, my mom, she had got me this laptop, and I would type in it. I would type like short stories, and I would type like chapter books. And eventually, when the computer died on me, all of those stories were erased. But she saw I loved to write videos and stuff, or videos. I love to write like stories and chapter books. And I didn't so much like reading, but I loved writing. And so, and she being a writer herself, kind of in her profession that she had, she was writing a lot, appreciated that I write it. I'm getting a call from spam. So I thought, like, when I wrote a book, just sharing, like, my book is about the last 5 years of my life, trying to create a facility that's all welcoming, all accepting, and like the trials and tribulations I went through. I expected, like, when I wrote a book, maybe you would try to reach out to me. I know I have her blocked in my phone, but I have so many social media platforms. Or she could have like called me from somebody else's phone, or something like that. Hey, I'm super proud of you. I just never got that growing up. And so when I was pregnant, how this contributed to my postpartum D, I never got to share the relationship and, my growth of growing a baby with my mom and having that kind of full circle family moment. I feel like I was robbed of that because, like, it just, why is this train going off? But it just, do you remember that TikTok of the kid, every time he tried to talk, like the train would just talk over him?
So I was gonna show you.
That's how I feel right now. But I just never got to share my prenatal, my birth, or my postnatal with my mom in an actual like loving way. That contributed to my postpartum D, because I just didn't have her as a person to lean on to. You know, you see all of these mothers, or I guess, yeah, all of these mothers, and then they have their mothers to help them through the pregnancy and postpartum, and, you know, coming as a community to take care of this baby. I didn't have that with my mom, and I don't think she really had her things together to support me in a way like that. So, you know, I guess that worked out. That contributed to my postpartum D. Second thing, this train really needs to chill out. And I don't want to stop making this video, because we're gonna get lunch after this. So the second thing that contributed to my postpartum D was when my car was stolen. And this, like I said, it's so unrelated to like the hormones and the things that you would expect to happen typically in a postpartum D. I was literally teaching kids yoga, but in the inner cities of Milwaukee. And like after a few sessions, Carrie actually was coming with me to help with these classes. I actually sat down with the board and I created an entire wellness program. And the program was so good that they were doing interviews so that they could, you know, boast about it in their newsletters, in their social media, and all of that. Which I never got that footage. So next to our foundation, what are we doing? But Carrie, he would come with me to do these classes, and then eventually he decided to stay home because he was doing this right after work and he was getting tired. So, you know, he would stay home so he could rest and be with Bear, and Grandma would be there, you know, watching Bear, while I would go and teach these classes. But when I was going by myself, he had warned, you know, hey, this isn't a very good neighborhood in Milwaukee, you know, you should be careful. And then one day, like I just, my intentions and where my heart was that I just want to teach yoga to these children. My goal for Ashlee CrazyYoga, my yoga studio, is to bring wellness to people and facilities that don't have this resource. And so that was my goal, to make an impact in these children's lives for their future, and something that they can look back on to use for coping skills, you know, as simple as studying for a test or stressing out about a test. The coping mechanisms you learned way back when you were in preschool, because Next Door Foundations is a preschool where there's children, and my car got stolen. They could use these resources to help them when they're older and preparing for tests and whatever they have in their adult life. You know what I mean? Like stuff like this at a very young age makes a huge impact into adulthood. So that was my main purpose. And when my car got stolen, it was 2 minutes before I got to my car. I had finished teaching the class for the day. I was walking through the hallways, and to sign out, I walked to my car. There's no car in the spot I was parked in. And mind you, why I was like, you know, I know the neighborhood's it's kind of iffy, but this was a parking lot that had a security camera, and it had a security guard sitting in a car watching the parking lot. I share more in this video here, because I don't want to do the whole story all over again, but so that's why I thought I felt secure. 2 minutes though before I got to my car was stolen. I had locked it, but it was the Kia boys, of course, so, you know, excellent. That was a financial dip my family had to go through and try to still recover from. We're still recovering financially for having to do the insurance and go through that. And this is the only car, by the way, that my family has. And when we had to go pick up the car, it had the Duna base. I had my son when he was really small in a Duna. So it's a car seat and it flips out to a stroller. So I was holding him as we had to go on the freeway and go through Milwaukee to go pick up the car when it finally was recovered. not this past summer, but last year we put new tires on the car. There was like 2 of them that were flat, and Kia only fixed a portion of what was wrong. Like my sensoring, some of the sensors don't work. This is a 2019, and Kia had lied to us, and they said we had programmed it so it's not as easy to start the car. So they lied about that, and they only fixed a portion. So my lane detection, that doesn't work. There's like other things that don't work, and it makes me just not feel safe driving my car anymore. So I really want to upgrade our car to like an SUV in the future, and so that's why I'm just trying to be really on my game with YouTube. I'm trying to monetize this so this can be another stream of income, because we're still recovering from like what happened with the car, and just there's so many other things that was just like just out of the blue that had to happen. I'm going to start this video or stop this video and restart it before. Okay, so I guess it stops after like 60 minutes of me recording, but I'm really trying to get my channel monetized, and I finally have the energy to put into my YouTube channel. That's what I was going to do. My car got stolen in January of this year, and I had like the motivation. It wasn't even like a New Year's resolution. I just love being like an organized person, and so I had like the motivation. I put it in my schedule. I'm gonna film this. I'm gonna edit this. I need to do something on the website here. Like I was like so motivated, and then that was the point when I was finally able to walk a little bit better and actually start doing like teaching my classes more full out than kind of sitting in a chair or standing and not stretching so deeply. I finally felt like my body was finally healing. I think I was like 8 or 9 months postpartum, but then like when that happened, that just, you know, effed it all up pretty much. And I brought it up to next door. They had just decided to let me go from doing the entire wellness program there because my car had got stolen, and I had made a big fuss about it. I brought it up to the president, and I had written out a contract that we all agreed upon, we all signed, and I'm still owed $4,000 from Next Door Foundation. And so that would have helped significantly, because I had budgeted for this this payment for this school. You know, this is like I don't know, like this a government school. This isn't just like, this isn't summer school or something like this. This is where kids actually are getting an education. This is supposed to be they're supposed to have higher standards than this. And the president, I'm like, she just didn't care. I brought up if you could just pay for the insurance of like my my deductible for this to be fixed, this would be fine, and I would continue with the program. Do you think we could do Zoom classes just in the meantime while my car is in the shop? And she didn't want to hear anything of it. She basically was like, this is your car, that was your liability, etc., etc. I'm like, yes, I had insurance on the car, but I'm like, I'm not expecting for this to happen in a secured lot with security cameras and a security guard. But mind you, at Next Door Foundation, the security guards would just be sitting outside in their cars smoking cigarettes. They wouldn't even, like, I don't know, like, I just thought, you know, this guy is sitting in the car, he's got the uniform on, maybe he actually wants to do his job today. So when that had got stolen, you can watch the story. I already posted an but if you want to hear more about that, that's there. That really sent me into my postpartum D. The last thing I wanted to share was about our studio closing. So finally getting to this point when we had to close our studio. This was of June of this year, and it was simply because the owner, he's selling the building, and I guess he's going to do some more work on it. So that's why we have a GoFundMe. I'm going to reopen it, so I can link it down below if you're interested. Otherwise, there are other ways you can support me in the studio down below in the description. I was really just trying to push our GoFundMe this year to raise $50,000. So the landlord had estimated that the actual owner, or the value of the building, was $219,000. $100,000. Is that how I say it? I'll put the number down below. That's what he estimated the price of the building to be worth. And so, and what the owner was going to list it for. And so with a commercial space, you have to put a huge down payment down, at least $20,000. And so with our GoFundMe, we raised $7,000. And so I was really trying to push us to at least get $10,000, because then we could I was hoping a grant. I had applied for over 50 grants and being told no and just overlooked. I just don't think people understand like the facility that I am trying to make for the community. Like, we're gonna do it again. I'm looking on Craigslist for other spaces to rent out, maybe in the meantime, until we can actually do what we like and have like a big space to bring our community in. I've been looking at spaces every single day on Craigslist. So if you want to donate to help with I'm raising money for our moving costs, and we need to do some more upgrades to our equipment as we do expand. That's all down below. But when we had closed the studio, I was just so sad and so deeply depressed, because like the owner, I had never gotten the chance to talk to him. I was always talking through the landlord. And I was like, well, could we just rent until we had raised enough money? And it was just like, no, it was such a cold deadline that it almost seemed impossible to reach. So that's why I'm really just trying to focus my energy into my social medias and mainly my YouTube, because I love filming videos. I've been on YouTube for years, and there's just been like a lot of dips that I just did not feel comfortable sharing, but now I feel like I'm ready to come to the camera and share these things. So hopefully this can help somebody else going through this same situation, or just to be more relatable, you know. And also, just in the future, now that I think about this, once I finally get through this BS, I can look back at these videos and be like, yo, that's growth. So that would be great to, you know, to look back on. But as of now, we're trucking along. We're doing our Zoom classes right now. If you want to join us or even just support us, by buying a membership. I do send out to people who just have and keep their memberships active. We do send like little goodies from our studio shop. They're all natural goods or handmade goods. I do send those out to people who may not be able to make our classes, but they still want to support our studio. You can support by just purchasing a membership. There is a donation button at the bottom of our website, and all of the links are in the description to support our studio. As of now, we're just on Craigslist. We're looking for a temporary space to host a couple people that do need to practice in person. We are Central Time if you do want to practice on Zoom. And that's that. But I don't know what happened this past month or so. I just feel like there is a kick in me. There's like this drive, this fire reigniting in me, and I just want to just push back into my passions. That all of this crap had happened. I feel like maybe this was the newest low in my life. Who knows? That point, and finally being able to come out of that and see the light. See what I did there? Because the sun keeps shining in the windows. But to finally like see the light and get back into the drive. My art. I had put my art up on the shelf since senior year. I had not tried to go back into my art because just living in scarcity of not knowing what's going to happen next, and like wondering if I'm going to be financially stable in the future has always just been an up and down, or it's just like kind of been in the back of my head thinking about that. But I finally feel like I'm just at a point of maturity and like of age of whatever happens, and I can finally accept that. I feel like the thing was of not accepting that. And one of my favorite quotes is, you know, not even a quote, but just change is constant. And once you finally internalize that, it's easier to adapt to different things. So thank you for listening to me ramble about this. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I want to continue to share stories like this, and as they happen. This was I don't even know. This was years of experience I just shared with you guys. So if you like the video, like it. If you want to share in the comment section, I'd love to read what you have to say. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.